Welcome to Play on Words, a theatrical podcast. Please turn off all outside distractions so as not to disturb the performance. Tonight's production, the Pride Monologues. For the best audio experience, we recommend using headphones for tonight's performance.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all individuals on the spectrums of gender and sexuality are created equal, that Cupid is hardly a straight shooter, and that being queer is no Sappho paw.
She lays herself beside me in bed, her body's crevices tucked into mine, like floral wallpaper dipping into the edges of antique wooden crown molding, and tells me I am beautiful. I turn my head away and mutter the same words back to her in a response that feels like the truthful version of a lie I am trusting she is telling me. And when she holds my skin, I feel that the outside of my body, those thickest outer layers, are the sheets of a bed made and ignored for so many years that no one was brave enough to crawl inside. The pillow has been fluffed and I have been tired, but I have spent years wandering for another place to call home. She is here now. She desires rest. She desires me in the ways I would have never been so free as to desire myself. She chooses me. I stay awake all night in a dark room with only outlines of light shining from the far-off bathroom with the nightlight with bulb-like eyes that never tire. I wonder how she has managed to learn and unlearn beauty in a manner that allows her to love me before I'm able to love myself. Her skin is soft and beautiful, with hairs that grow like small grasses upon summer fields. Her body folds into shapes of majestic, liberated, expanding clouds when she bends and dances and spirals. She is one with the universe in a way I feel I may never be, and I love her for every reason she is not what this world might have thought she may be. She is knocking at the front door of a hypothetical childhood home created in my mind that I choose to reside in now, to reconcile the person I once was, and still am in more ways than even my awareness knows. My parents open the door for her, and they are calling up to me with certain voices, saying that she is here, for me, saying she feels it too. She wants you to. She thinks you're beautiful. She adores you. We promise we are telling the truth. Honey, open the door. Honey, it is okay. Honey, you are safe here. Honey, we still love you. She does too. Honey, where are you? Come down here and exhale in the way that allows your belly to touch the world. Allow her to notice the space you take. It is more sacred than you will ever know. And let her pray to the parts of you that you still don't know how to accept. Come down here and understand that the way you have been loving women is based on the limitations of how you have been loving yourself. You can be held, and you can hold yourself. You don't have to choose. It can be easy, like she says it is. Come down and be whoever it is that you are. This house can be yours too.
When you are a teenager, or more maturely a young adult, you are completely at the mercy of the misogynist that are your misbooker. I know I've got some splaining to do. On the sunny side, I've got minimal complaining to do, at least in regards to my coming out, which happened the day before the first night of my 16th Hanukkah. So, picture a nostalgic nuclear family, not unlike the kind you'd find on a black and white boob tube. Which episode should we enjoy this evening? Dad queries, perusing a pile of VHS tapes, job switching, Lucy does a TV commercial, Lucy and Ethel buy the same dress. How about vacation from marriage? I suggest, my stomach twisting like a chauffeur. Mom smears cream cheese on a tam-tam, as if daring me to make like a matzo and crack. That's the one, she asks, knocking on the hexagon, where the gals are quarreling with the guys, and Lucy asks Ethel if she wishes there was something else to marry besides men, and Ethel answers, yes, or something a little more 50s friendly. No, that's the one where Lucy and Ethel take a hiatus from their husbands and move in with each other. Dad mansplains in his customary chivalrous manner. Then one night they get all gussied up and pay a visit to their spouses, and Lucy says she hopes that Ricky and Fred have as gay an evening as she and Ethel are planning on having, and then... Wait. As Dad's synopsis stops, his eyes grow wider than yarmulkes. The size of Mom's eyes matches macaroons, suspiciously smaller. There's an explosion of silence, unheard of in a Jewish household. Suddenly, I feel like the filling in a blueberry blintz, ready to come out at the slightest provocation. Mom, Dad, I address my absurdly attentive audience. I have some seriously super news to share. I'm gay! And now I hope and wait and worry that I have just committed a Sappho paw. How will my family react to my declaration of Lesbi-independence? Will they regard me like smuts on a smarter? Kiss my teppy like everything's kosher? Or offer some recognitive advice like, don't be daffy, Allie, at least date a non-goy boy before you make it official. While Mom and Dad, or more formally Judy and Steve, turn their wheels like Tammy's milk cart, I start spitzing like an ice-cold bottle of Dr. Brown's cream soda. Oh, maybe they'll do a bottle dance in honor of the unexpected uncapping of my secret. And then Judy winks at Steve. And it becomes clear that the Abba who knows best has been looking to the Ema who knows better for approval. I should have known, Mom knows. In our house, we don't practice Judaism. We practice Judaism. Better late than straight? The aforementioned mensch guffaws. Take me to the WC, the water closet being the only acceptable kind, and call me relieved. Dad cavorts, his dance a maniacal mishmash of the horror and the hokey pokey. Now, we don't have to worry about you knocking votes and getting knocked up. Mom marvels, trolling with equivalent merriment. And I don't have to compete with another fellow for your attention. Dad discovers I have the privilege of being the only man in my little girl's life. I must be hearing things, which is good, I guess, since I am hard of hearing. But my parents don't really think that my similarities to Sappho are boffo, do they? I mean, it's not like I anticipated yelling, but I definitely did not foresee this degree of glee and cavilling. The point is, Allie, Judy says, and I brace myself because the woman makes more points than a Star of David. We have Barkefelt to worry about. Dad's face contorts as if he's just imbibed his first spoonful of vitamin Benjamin. Nothing at all, he confesses. Don't worry, we'll think of something. Mom pledges and Dad fucks up pronto. But then, much to my chagrin, though thank heaven for hearing impairment, they begin to sing a vibrant, validating, verbose version of the I Love Lucy theme song. I love Leslie and she loves me. We're as happy as two can be, and higher is heaven you see. 'Cause I love Leslie, yes I love Leslie, and Leslie loves me. Oh, honey, Mom coos until something shews the smile off her face. Stand up straight, my little mezuzah. The one and only thing we expect to be straight about you is your posture. I sigh, but comply. Her cue to imply with a harumph of triumph. Oh, honey, you're home. As my parents embrace me, squashing me like the childhood of a girl at her bat mitzvah, I realize that the bloom isn't all the heteros. In fact, just because one's family is nuclear doesn't mean they'll go nuclear at the news that there's a lavender menace in their midst. You know, Dad muses, we should have our own family-friendly TV show, the Lucy Leslie Comedy Hour. I can see the episodes now, Mom enthusiasts. Wonder of wonder, quircle of quircles. Lucy and Ethel put the Les in klezmer. And the Hanukkah special to end all Hanukkah specials. The Labia Minora. And with that, I am out.
Temperature 6, dew point 5, QNH 1018, tempo, visibility 4,000 meters.
He left me. Can you believe it? You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? Arthur, the man I'm seeing, was seeing, until 11 o'clock this morning, that is. Do you have any chocolate? Anything, really. M&M's, chocolate chips, can Hershey syrup? No? Well, I met Arthur at the symphony, for Christ's sakes. Doesn't have all the signs of a serious relationship. I thought he was a patron of the arts, a lover of the finer things in life. Turns out he's the lover of a violin player. And not a very good violin player, mind you. Like, 4th violin, 6th chair. This guy is so far back in the string section, the conductor can't even see him. How about something salty? Peanuts, pretzels, chips? None of those. Really. So, I have this neighbor, Dwight. Like, Eisenhower? President Eisenhower? You're kidding, right? Okay, let's try another approach. Dwight, like Yoakum? How can you know a washed-up country singer and not a president of the United States? Anyway, Dwight is as camp as a row of tents. His idea of a good time is, get this, to break into your apartment and clean your grout. Grout. It's the white stuff between the tiles in your shower. Right, the stuff that turns black. That's why Dwight cleans it. Oh, maybe a cake mix? How long does it take to make a cake? 40 minutes? I don't have that kind of time. Well, here's another thing about Dwight. He loves to iron. And I mean, I'm lucky if my clothes get folded and put away, let alone ironed. And he uses scented linen water when he irons. Peony, I think. Peony? It's a flower. Peony linen water. That's not just the gayest thing I've heard all day. It's the gayest thing I've heard all year. And Dwight irons everything. Shirts, sheets, pants, pillowcases. Get this. He even irons his underwear. What kind of person irons his underwear? A freak, right? How about orange juice? You got any orange juice? I feel like my blood sugar is going to crash. Shelby, drink your juice. What? No juice either. Well, this morning, I'm at Arthur's place to pick him up and bring him here for the weekend. And this morning, I looked great. I mean, I look like a shit show now, but this morning, I looked great. Arthur isn't dressed, isn't packed, says he isn't going. I mean, we had today planned for months. When I ask why, guess who prances out of the bedroom in a pair of perfectly pressed boxer shorts? No chocolate, no chips, no juice, no peanut butter? Good Lord, what do you live on? Oh, God. I lost Arthur to a man who irons his underwear. I am never going to the symphony again.
I used to think that if you stay in one spot, in one place for long enough, that you would fuse into the wall and stay there, suspended for the rest of your life. By those standards, I could have been in a wire chair on the second floor of the art supply store on Monroe Boulevard. If the big demo people came in and tore down a wall or two and opened it up like a dollhouse, I would be left sitting there with my legs dangling over the wreckage. Or, well, I guess that's just what my mom always told me. I was never a big artist, but the store owner was nice to me, and I liked to watch the kids that were. The ones whose mouths or hands or minds just spewed, and whose parents would take them to an art supply store instead of making up a wives' tale fallacy to keep them out of one. The thing is, sitting here right now, I can't help but think that she was right. Because I have been to this movie theater nearly every week for the past 4 months, which I like to call impressive, but well, my brother Moncho much prefers to call sad. And I can't help but have the most sneaking suspicion that I'm trying to escape my own reality. But I've been a serial moviegoer for months. And now, after falling asleep during a screening of a movie that no one wanted to see, I am locked inside of an inner-city Cinemark with a dead phone and even deader ambitions of trying to escape. And you? Well, you are a particularly inviting poster of Janelle Monáe. Okay, wait, hear me out. Well, because you have no choice. But we have a lot in common. And this isn't me trying to make a pass at you, okay? What? We're both outside of the gender binary. We're both inexplicably hot. And queer just as an umbrella term, but I don't know. No one is ever going to see me exactly how I see myself. Well, not truly, so trying to police that seems like a lot of effort without much benefit. It's so much easier to just coast, to listen to some borderline bigot and their views on the world and just walk away. Not correct them, not say much of anything at all. I don't know how you do it. I've taken a machete to the world around me, to myself, to get to where I am today. Cutting through vines and fighting through, moss, I guess, all to reach this point, this huge epiphany, and then life goes on. And I don't feel like fighting anymore. No one talks about that postpartum letdown, when you've been born or realize what it is you were born to be, and then everything is so earth-shatteringly amazing that you feel like you've gotten a heart transplant from a hummingbird, and then it all just dims. Maybe that's just growing up. Because I was stuck in one spot, one place, for so long that when I stepped out of it and went somewhere else, became someone different, it was so surreal. Maybe it still doesn't feel all that real. Like I can't trust it. Like I'll wake up one day and have to leave my sugar water palette behind because I didn't qualify. Like somehow I dreamt all of it up and lived it myself because I wasn't gifted enough to make art out of it. Shit. Maybe it is kind of sad.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl. They say she was a very funny creature. For example, she believed that mom and dad know more than anyone else in the world, and never lie. She also believed that the horizon was easy to reach. You only had to run towards it so quickly that it would not have time to jump away. She believed in Santa so much that she even had an actual fight with a boy, a few years older, who said that he is already grown up and know that no Santa exists. And a few years later, the little girl was crying and begging God to help her forget the moment when her dad decided to confirm the horrible rumors. She talked to her mom. The little girl was afraid that her mom will confirm the terrible rumors too, but surprisingly, this did not happen. If you want to believe in Santa, then continue to do so. Do not listen to others. But Santa, how do you know who is Santa? You are the only one who chooses who he is for you. What if Santa is someone or something who brings the joy of Christmas to our house? You never know, so all you're left with is to believe in it or not. Now it is a grown-up girl, a teenager, almost a lady, that has reached and passed several horizons in her life and career, and ended up being a successful second-year student at a prestigious university. But this grown-up girl, a teenager, and almost a lady, still treasures and hides deep inside that little girl who runs toward the seemingly unreachable horizons and believes in her own Santa, especially in Santa, because she knows that everything you believe in is true, in your world and inside your heart.
I'm a kid, and these feelings I have are just feelings. A fire burning in my chest. Nothing wrong, nothing bad. I'm a kid, and these feelings I have make me explore, make me try new things. I'm a kid, and I learn that those things aren't for me. I'm a kid, and I learn that these feelings aren't right. I'm a kid, and I put these feelings away. And yet, the fire burns. I'm in school, and I watch as others are persecuted for these feelings, for expressing these feelings, for letting their fire glow. I'm in school, and I learn to avoid the persecution. I learn to hide the fire, to stifle the glow. I'm in school, and I don't contribute to the persecution, but I'm in school, and I don't stop the persecution. If I speak up, they may notice my fire, may notice my glow, may come for me too. I'm in school, and I ignore these feelings as they should be ignored. And yet, the fire burns. I'm in college, and I fall in love. I fall in normal, heterosexual love. I'm in college, and I am loved. I am heterosexually, cisgenderedly, normally loved. I'm in college, and those old feelings are at bay. I'm in college, and I am normal. And yet, the fire burns. I have friends, and I watch as some of them glow openly, and I watch as others mock their glowing. I have friends, and I watch proudly as they are accepted for their feelings, and I watch as their feelings are scorned. I have friends, and I watch as their persecution begins to fade, but isn't yet gone. I have friends, but I don't tell them about my fire. I don't tell them about my glow. I can't tell them. I won't tell them. I have friends, and I tell myself
My feelings aren't real. My fire isn't real. And yet, the fire burns. I put these feelings under a rock, where they can stay hidden and in control. I put these feelings under a rock where the fire can't escape. I put these feelings under a rock where they won't find them, where no one will find them, where I won't find them. No matter the pain, no matter the tears, no matter the heartache, the confusion, the desire, the dysphoria, the lostness, no matter the flames, I put these feelings under a rock, and I keep them there. And yet, the fire burns. I meet someone new, someone accepting, someone kind. The fire burns stronger. They are loving. They are caring. The fire burns bigger. They are funny. They are good. The fire burns hotter. They are everything, and the fire is out of control. They are everything, and the rock I use to cover the fire explodes. They are everything, and I can't contain the fire anymore. They are everything, and I am afraid, and the fire burns, and I stop trying to contain it, and the fire burns, and I give in, and the fire burns, and I embrace it. The fire burns, and I am no longer afraid of it. The fire burns, and I'm okay. I'm accepted. I am loved. The fire burns, and I feel myself. The fire burns, and I feel alive. And the fire burns.
I never really felt the need to come out. My ideal coming out scenario was bringing home someone who wasn't cis and or straight and just being like, hey mom, this is my partner, surprise. But I mean, it took me a while to, 1, come up with such an ingenious plan, and 2, fully understand and be comfortable with saying it to myself. I'm queer. I'm bisexual. I remember so many times as a kid feeling things about girls the same way I felt things about guys, but never connecting that I felt just as strongly about girls as I did about guys. Always brushing things off as a girl crush or just wanting to be her best friend. I was like 6 years old the first time I remember liking a girl. I saw this older girl in my mom's salon. She was probably in her late teens or early 20s. I thought she was the prettiest girl I'd ever seen, and I kept telling her everything I liked about her. And I distinctly remember being kind of sad and annoyed that her boyfriend was there. My mom sat me down later and told me I couldn't constantly compliment people because they think I was making fun of them. She had the best intentions, but I was just a little baby gay and didn't have the language for it yet. And then in 5th grade, my boyfriend broke up with me, and my closest friend kept me company while I sulked. I told her I might give up boys and switch to girls, half joking, half serious, just to see her reaction, because I thought she was cute for the longest time. I don't even remember what she said, but I just wanted her to validate me in a sense, or at the very least say she'd give up boys too. Then again in high school, I was at a Sweet 16 and my girlfriend was dancing with this guy she liked who was our mutual friend, and I happened to kind of like them both. And just seeing them dance with each other made me wish I was dancing with either one of them. More so my girlfriend than our guy friend. I was also so curious what it would be like to hold hands with or kiss or just be in a relationship with a girl. But I never knew anyone else who was bisexual or someone who liked me and wasn't a guy. Actually, guys never even came up to me and told me they liked me. Can you imagine how difficult it would be to come across a girl who would? I did get lucky by sophomore year, though. I finally got a boyfriend who's now been my partner for more than 4 years. And in my senior year of high school, about 2 years into our relationship, I talked to him and kind of accidentally came out. He was the first person I ever told, and he just wanted to know everything about how I knew. Explaining my queerness to him helped me better understand what my labels were and how I experience attraction to people of different genders. And finally, last semester, I talked about my queerness out loud to other people. My closest friends started being more open about their queerness, and after taking the time to really think about what being queer means to me, I was ready to talk about it to them too. A few months later, I was on the phone with my mom, telling her about one of my roommates, when I mentioned in passing that they liked girls. Then she asked me if I did, and I just said yes. I wasn't actively working to hide it, but it still seemed to catch her a little off guard. She responded by saying, "This doesn't change anything. I'm always gonna love you." All the good stuff she says to me whenever something big happens. I talked to her later and asked her if she always knew. She never thought about it until I started reposting lots of infographics and Visibility Week posts. It's so strange how something I pushed to the back of my head all my life never even crossed her mind. When I was little, I felt like it was weird to be anything but straight. I remember watching YouTubers coming out videos and crying, but never understood why, because I was just an ally, right? And now I don't always feel queer enough. I'm in a straight relationship, but I have to remind myself that I'm not straight. I have to find the history and stories of other queer people that help me feel more valid and secure in my identity. But I'm glad I don't have to run from those thoughts anymore. I'm glad I don't have to worry about coming out, at least to the people that will accept me with open arms. Little me would never believe that one day I would say out loud that I like boys and girls and people all over the gender spectrum. She would absolutely lose her mind.
The first time we kiss, we are wearing Playbill patterned pajamas, playing the soundtrack to Starlight Express, and swearing off guys, all of whom we've never cast an eyeball at in the first place. We've been too busy making eyes at each other, root beer float brown, gazing at gumball green. Except now we're looking at each other just enough, but not too much, like actresses cheating out to deliver dialogue. Only we've both gone up on our lines, or maybe we just haven't learned them yet. Eventually, we pick up on our LGBTQs and the distance between us starts to dwindle until your sugared grapefruit scent and piggy bank pink pucker are kissably close, closer than a checker on a square. I just can't wait to be kinged, so I don't. I lean in and latch on. When it comes to kissing you, there's no business like slow business. Everything about it is appealing. The overture that releves into the opening number with its thoroughly modern melody, the up-tempo standard that grapevines into the introspective piece rendered with restrained longing. And when the power ballad pivots into the emotional climax with its harmonically held high notes, one singularly sensational kick line starts inside my heart. From the stereo, the cast launches into a lot of locomotion, and even though it's not the locomotion, we are definitely doing a brand new dance now, experiencing something wonderful, loverly, and truly scrumptious. Afterwards, we huddle in a cuddle of ingenuine giggles, stage whispers, and bass clef-style smiles. We share the lyrical sentiments that inspired our introductory intimacy. "I'm the bravest individual I have ever met," Sweet Charity contributed. "It'd be surprisingly good for you," evoked Evita. "I think I'm gonna like it here," Annie averred. "We're gay and thespian," you remind me, threading your fuchsia-frosted fingers through my theater curtain-colored ones. So what she really warbled was, "I think I'm gonna like it queer." I try to reply, but the intermission between our first kiss and our second kiss has ended on a high note. The skate-shod Starlight singers may be on a roll, but this lip-locked lesbian is in a role. Your leading lady.
Ophelia, my dove, my joy, my hope, think no more of men that treat you so poor. Wither not at the sight of his madness, for he speaks not a truth about your mind. Bloodroots blossom, and the daisies they do too, but all the blossoms that do rise in spring could not compare to beauty such as you. I beg of thee, drink not the poison sap, nor shiver in the stream that calls you so. We may not have the world all on our side, but the strength of our love will sustain us. So marry me, my sweet, no nun nor whore, care not what he says. Stay with me instead.
Self-love has always been a buzzword that circulated around my brain like a fly. A pesky one that I couldn't get rid of. It didn't matter how many times I was treated like gum on the bottom of a shoe. It persisted even if it was such a small speck that I needed a microscope to make it out. There cannot be self-love without self-acceptance. And how do you accept yourself in a sphere that doesn't welcome you? That so clearly time and time again has made you into their puppet, their token, their cute little Mexican girl to just add a bit of spice. You express yourself and they call you spicy, as if it's supposed to be a compliment. As if you're supposed to take it with a nice lime salt trim, with a smile and a thanks for adding the flavor to their bland lives. Here's the thing though. This teaches you existence for others over existence of self. How are you supposed to love yourself when your parents teach you survival by separation, by keeping you away from the so-called tontos that make up the people you relate to? How do you go through life, through adolescence, without community? And what do you do when that community is tied to the oppression of another part of your identity? Self-love seemed like a myth, something that was marketed by the white, thin female and in gaining a step closer towards girl-bossing their way through life, ultimately feeling empty and never knowing why, because you were never taught how to love, how to care with compassion and dedication and respect. People have lost respect for themselves, and so they shower in the commodities the world has convinced them will fill a space that only spiritual fulfillment can. I sit here today reflecting, what do I mean when I say that I love myself? That I have to honor myself? Honoring the space that I hold in my own life and the space I take up in others? Balancing my needs without placing them above other people? Remember that my voice is worth something, that I am able to speak on my own experiences, because that is what they are, mine. And this specificity is what will nurture authenticity within myself and the relationships that I form, the human connections that I encounter and develop and want to nurture. How do I build connection within myself, connecting with my body, a place that has never really been a home for me, and why I've so desperately tried to find home in others. But home is me when I really make it. When I trust that my body is for me, that it fluctuates and moves and it's not tied to its ability status, while that does provide immense privilege. I'm tethered by my heart and my brain, the beautiful blend of ideas that provide nuance to my experience. I am loving myself when I am standing up for others. I am loving myself when I am making my needs clear. I am loving myself when I stand in my power and confidence. I am loving myself when I am moving, stretching through movements. I am myself when I am honest. Honesty is not received kindly in this world, but it is necessary. I am my greatest home. And while I can find home in community and in others, and that is essential to my being, I am home to me. And while I may not feel it that, something of note. So easy is the word self-love that I got a tattoo of a torso with trees before I understood the meaning of home within one's body. Art has a beautiful way of expressing our inner feelings quite before we are able to conceptualize it ourselves. It shows us the unconscious ways in which we view ourselves, growing, dynamic, fluid.
Sunlight tumbling through sheer curtains, embracing your bare hips and shoulders, casting your lovely face into shadow, highlighting the streaks of red and blonde that hide in your hair, tucking a few stray hairs behind your ear, caressing your smooth jaw with careful fingers. A dreamy smile and soft brown eyes greet me, receiving kisses that get sweeter with every press of our lips, cooking breakfast, improvising songs under your breath. The delightful smell of pancakes fill the air, wrapping my arms around you as we sing, feeling you and breathing you in for the rest of our lives.
Telling myself I wouldn't come out until I was in a relationship with a woman was telling myself that my sexuality was the choice of another human being and not inherently a part of me. Telling myself that others wouldn't understand or be comfortable with my identity was creating a boundary before giving others the chance to love me in the way I needed. Telling myself that it wasn't respectful to express my queerness while in a heterosexual appearing relationship was placing guilt on myself, prioritizing expectations of others' comfort above my own well-being and curiosity. Telling myself to only advertise the easy privilege my boyfriend and I have in an outwardly straight relationship was ignoring the spectrums of gender and sexuality that everyone has the power to express and use for good. Telling myself that my attractions would not be met with reciprocity was separating myself from the closeness and calmness of genuine connection that I undoubtedly craved. Telling myself that I did not look bisexual was mirroring the societal dialogue that hurt me and told me I was not good enough to come out in the first place. Telling myself that sexual identity had a specific appearance at all was subscribing to an unfair systematic standard not only for myself but for others. Telling myself I needed to change to be enough was internalizing the views of others rather than the desires of my own heart and mind. Telling myself that queer spaces were not for me was suspending myself in the limbo that many other bisexuals know too well. Too straight. Too gay. Not the right look. Just a phase. Just ignore it. Just pick one. Just how do you know for sure? I don't.
This has been the Pride Monologues, including the following works: The Dyke-claration of Lesbi-independence by Allison Fradkin, A Return to the Childhood Home by Allie Stewart, Challah If You Queer Me by Allison Fradkin, Moose by F.J. Hartland, Moncho, Monáe, Montrose by Anita Parrott, Little Girl by Anastasiia Rudenko, The Fire Burns by Ben Snyder, The Plague of Coming Out by Mei-Lan, Holland, Miscued by Allison Fradkin, You Should Dump Hamlet by Anna Kleinschnitz, Self-Love by de-Niz, Sappho's Legacy by Anna Kleinschnitz, A Manifesto to My Queerness by Allie Stewart. Directed by Dallan G. Halkias. Sound designed by Dannon Johnson and Soren de-Niz. Stage managed by Soren de-Niz. Featuring the voices of Meg Ceccarelli, Allie Stewart, Allison Fradkin, Travis Barkefelt, Ben Snyder, Anastasiia Rudenko, Ivy Kasperek, Mei-Lan, Holland, Don Ceccarelli, Anna de-Niz, and Anita Parrott. Theme music for Play on Words by Christ Clark. Listen at christclark.bandcamp.com. Play on Words is produced by Glass Fox Productions, with executive direction by Soren de-Niz and technical direction by Mackenzie L. Martin. Thank you for listening and for continuing to support the arts. Good show, everybody. Good show.